All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast. I am your host, Julie Jester Gayhart, and I am coming to you live on the Appalachian Trail in the state of New York. I am spending the day going through Harriman State Park on the Appalachian Trail. I started this morning at the Elk Park parking area, AT parking area, which is northbound mile 1,388.4. And I'm going to tell y'all what I just got done doing and what I was kind of anticipating this morning. And I am going to be finishing today at mile 1,393.7, northbound mile, which looks to be about 3.4 miles ahead of me. And y'all, I just got done going through the infamous lemon squeezer as you go through this section. It's a rock outcropping. And there's one part of going through the lemon squeezer where you kind of have to shimmy yourself through. And it's fun. It's like a chute that goes between two boulders. And I got some good video of it. So that will, I'll put the video probably out on Instagram and my YouTube channel the day that this episode releases. I wanted to take the time and spend more time talking to you guys while I am actually out on trail. Kind of what the plan is over the next few days. I am going to be clicking off this section, which is just a little over 5.5 miles. And then tomorrow I will be doing, I believe it's just under a 12-mile day, where I will be going and hiking to Bear Mountain State Park. And then I know for sure on the third day, I will be going through the portion of the Appalachian Trail that goes through the zoo in New York. And then I will be walking over the famous bridge that goes over the Hudson. And that will lead me over to finishing up New York and starting in the state of Connecticut. But for this episode, I am going to focus on bringing you just myself out on the trail, hiking through New York. And I just completely forgot how gorgeous Harriman, Harriman State Park is. It's just lush, it's green. There's actually been water at the water sources. It's supposed to get pretty warm today, but not too bad. Hopefully y'all can hear those crickets. It is rockier than what I remember, but what I remember the AT was like when I went through here. I actually went through this part of the AT when I was working on my first section hike, completion of the trail, back in 2015. So right now I'm just standing and walking on top of a rock slab. And what I wanted to tell you, I guess why I'm still out of breath, is when you shimmy yourself through the lemon squeezer, right after the lemon squeezer, there is like this rock wall. And that will take it out of you more than the lemon squeezer. But again, they're both short, sweet, and to the point. And it's been so great being out here and just remembering the trail and actually working on, again, some additional mileage that will help me check some boxes for completing my second Appalachian Trail section hike. And the birds have been going in the state of New York as well. And Like I said, I've got about 3 more miles to go. This was a short day, just a 5.7. And then we will be going over to, well, actually, let me back up. So this 5.7 miles ends at like a beach area. And I'm probably not going to say this right. The beach area is Teorati Circle. It says Arden Valley Road intersects Seven Lakes Drive at Teorati Circle, a large state park, beach, and parking area. There is space for dozens of cars to park here, along with a picnic area, restrooms, shower, and spigots. And y'all, the way I feel right now, I might take me a little swim, and we might have a picnic lunch / early dinner, depending on what time I get there. And then over the next 3 days, 3 or 4 days, I can't remember, we are going to be staying at, I believe it's called Beaver Pond Campground. And I will get the information for that this afternoon. But we are going to be camping, and every morning the drive to where I'm going to start hiking is about no more than 15 minutes. And the access point, Stephanie can pick me up at the top of Bear Mountain State Park. And then the next day I will start at the top again and then work my way down through the zoo in New York and cross the Hudson. And I am really looking forward to crossing the Hudson. And I'm going to put this fancy mic on and take you all across the Hudson with me. So for now, y'all, today, I believe it's just a little over a 5.5 mile hike. I'm going to end at the beach area, and we are going to be staying at, I am pretty positive it's called the Beaver Pond Campground or something of that nature. And I believe the campground is actually in Harriman State Park. So that worked out fantastic. So I am going to leave y'all for today. Just a short and sweet episode. I'm really hoping you guys can hear these birds. Yeah, hopefully the mic will pick up those birds. But looks like I'm going to stop. I'm looking at far out right now. 3.2 to go to the picnic area. And if something happens between now and the picnic area, I will turn this mic back on and start recording. But if not, I will definitely come back to y'all tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is going to be an 11.7 mile day, and I will give you all the info about that. And before I depart, so I was going through the lemon squeezer where you have to shiver yourself through. It's not that bad. If you had a really big pack on, you'd probably have to take it off. But it was fun. And a thru hiker came up right behind me, and he was in there, and we were like, wow, this is crazy. And we were talking and stuff. And right when you go through there, you kind of turn to the right, and you see this rock wall. And you guys, I said, go for it. And you guys, he just walked right around, and he went up that rock wall like it was absolutely nothing. So that was fun for me to see this morning. And needless to say, it was not nothing for me. But I'm going downhill, y'all. I'm watching my foot placement here. I will definitely get back with y'all tomorrow. Hope y'all have a fantastic day today. And this entire episode will be the state of New York and the mileage that I am doing through the state before we hit Connecticut. So it will be back to back to back with no breaks. So until tomorrow, have a fantastic day. All right, still day one, y'all. I had to come back on and share this little story. So I just passed an intersection with the Appalachian Trail and the long path that I think it was 51 and some change miles. At that intersection, you can turn right and follow a mint ice cream flavored color blaze all the way to New York City. And I always think of Derek Lugo in that ATC video. The ATC made a video, him and his brother hiked the long path from New York City out to the Appalachian Trail, and I think it goes a little bit further. I'd have to look at my picture on the sign, but anyway, I always think of Derek Lugo when it comes to the long path and hiking to New York City, and his brother at that YouTube video, which I'm sure you can find out there somewhere in the YouTube land. But Derek also has a book out called The Unlikely Thru Hiker. Great book. And all about his experience through hiking the Appalachian Trail. I'm probably going to get this year wrong, but I believe it was 2012. So anyway, thought I would come back on and share that little tidbit. I had forgotten about crossing that path here in this section today, and the sign just made me smile because I think about Derek hiking from New York City. And that video is a lot of fun. So anyway, I am now climbing and out of breath. So I'm going to stop here again and conclude this day one episode, unless something else pops up that I have forgotten about in this section. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow on day 2 of New York City. Or not New York City, I'll see you tomorrow on day 2 of hiking the Appalachian Trail here in New York. All right, y'all, welcome to day number 2 of me section hiking the Appalachian Trail in the state of New York. And I am still going through the AT through Harriman State Park. And today I started at the beach lake area around Arden Valley Rd. And if you look in the AT guide or on Far Out, that is mile 1393.4 northbound. And today I am going to Anthony Wayne Recreation Area, which is northbound mile 1401.7. And if you are looking and using the 2024 AT guide, it says it's about an 8.3 mile day. But if you are utilizing Far Out says it is a 9 mile day. So either way, today I am doing 8.3 miles, basically through Harriman State Park, heading northbound on the Appalachian Trail. And I wanted to let you know that we are staying at Beaver Pond Campground within Harriman State Park. And we are at site E16. And you guys, the site is fantastic. You can see the lake. It's got plenty of space, picnic table, fire pit, all the things. And I believe the Beaver Pond Campground is $14 a night. I mean, you cannot beat that. So yesterday, after I got picked up at the beach area, we went to Walmart to resupply or get groceries. And then we went to a diner. OMG. Y'all, I love diners. And this was my first diner experience following the Seek to Do More program and following my nutrition protocol, if that's what you want to call it. And yesterday, at the diner, I did not gorge out and get all these nasty things. I actually got 2 large eggs, 4 pieces of bacon, and a salad. And I just thought the salad was going to be in a separate bowl. But y'all, the plate came out and the eggs were on it, did the salad, and then the bacon was draped across the salad. And it was a fantastic overall nutritional meal. Got good protein in, got good vegetables in, and that held me over until last night. And then last night we got our Coleman stove out, and I bought a bunch of chicken at Walmart to grill out, a bunch of vegetables. And last night I grilled out at the campground, like these white chicken breast, or white meat chicken breast. Can't think right now how you say that. I'm on the trail. And I dumped a bunch of vegetables in there last night. Once I got done cooking that, added some salsa to it, and it was a fantastic meal. So when I can, with food, I've just tried to make good choices. And last night I figured out it was day number 170 of being on or being part of the Seek to Do More program and having James as a one-on-one coach. And I will say, I feel fantastic. Now, since we've been out here, I have not been on the scale. I have no idea how much I weigh right now, but I can base things probably on my clothes. And I still kind of feel like I am probably around a 20-pound weight loss. I really don't know, but it doesn't matter because I feel fantastic. And every day I'm out here hiking, I get stronger and stronger and stronger. So there you have it. I am about a little over a mile in to today's trek. And today's mileage is the least elevation gain and loss that I have done so far, even in the Shenandoahs. So it's about a 1,700 ascent day over the course of either 8.3 or 9 miles, and about 1,000 feet of descent over the course of those miles. But with the Appalachian Trail, you always have to take everything into account. Even though it's not much ascent and descent right now, well, ever since I started, I have been walking pretty much on rocks and roots with some brown path in between. So the terrain itself is always something to take into consideration as well. So like I said, a little over a mile in now. I had a little flat part that I figured I would start recording on, but I guess the highlight, or I should say one of the highlights of today, is a new 2-mile reroute that I have not been on because the AT has been rerouted to cross a different place over the Palisades Highway. So the last time I was in this section was the summer of 2015. So the AT has been rerouted, a 2-mile reroute according to Far Out. So that will be a whole 2 miles of trail that I've never been on before. But what that reroute does is it allows me to be picked up at the recreation area, at the Anthony Wayne recreation area. Otherwise, that would not have been possible. So it looks like, from what I can tell, the AT guide, the 2024 AT guide, only has the new route, which was established in 2023, that it was the official route of the AT. But on Far Out, the app, it shows the new route as the official AT, but it also shows the old route as a blue blaze, how to get down to the shelter that is off of the new blue blaze, or the old AT route. So you got options. And after reading comments in Guthook, it looks like people are continuing to use the old route. Maybe they need to utilize the shelter. And I don't remember crossing Palisades Highway. You had to cross it twice, like back to back, being that big of a deal. Of course, like I said, that was in 2015. I just remember stopping, waiting for traffic to have a good point to get across, and running across the first time, and then stopping, waiting for traffic, and running across the second time. So who knows? But there are 2 new miles of trail ahead, and I'm looking forward to that. If y'all can't tell, I'm out of breath again. My little flat did not last very long. So I am going to stop right here, right beside a tree that has a white blaze on it, and kind of wrap up this morning. Day 2, depending on what you're looking at, it's either going to be 9 miles or 8.3 miles, and honestly, it doesn't matter. Going from the beach area at Arden Valley Rd to the Anthony Wayne Recreation Area. And y'all, when I get to the reroute, I will come back on and give y'all an update. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day, and I'll be back soon. All right, y'all. A few miles in, still on day 2, and I've been walking and thinking, primarily because coming soon, July 1st, I will hit my 6-month mark with being coached, one-on-one coaching with James Appleton, and being part of the Seek to Do More program. And today I've just really been reflecting. When I first started in January, those first 30 days, then the next 30 days, and then the 90-day mark, which led to Jester's Redemption section hike. But as I've been reflecting, I've been thinking about the first 30 days of the Seek to Do More program and coaching with James. And I had no idea during those 90 days I would get a daily text message from James, and he would send things of encouragement. But we also had things that he challenged us to do. And I was thinking about one of those things today, and I completed one of these things the other day in the Shenandoah National Park when we hit our 100-mile mark. And one of those things is to reach out to people, thank people who have helped impact your life, whether that's a phone call, a text message, or reaching out to them via email in some kind of way. Reaching out to somebody that has made an impact in your life, or somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. So the other day, at the 100-mile mark, I made 3 videos. 3 one-minute videos while I was on trail, the 100-mile mark in the Shenandoah National Park. Hopefully I'm not confusing y'all because I'm walking on the trail babbling. Y'all know how that goes. So I made 3 videos. And the first video was to my surgeon, Dr. Kent Ellington. He's truly the man that saved my life, that decided he would go into my foot and see what was going on with no promises, but he would do his absolute best to get me back to the trail. So I made him a video, and I reached out and was able to get that video to someone who could get it to him. And then I made a second video, which was to Dr. Matt Tracy, my physical therapist, who, has spent, well over 8-9 months with me, rehabbing, strengthening, building my confidence. I sent him a video of thanks. And then the third video I sent to James, just thanking him for taking me on as a client and believing that I could do something that I didn't even believe myself, because he has seen it time after time after time with coaching people that don't have the self-confidence. But if you follow his program, you will. And now that we're getting ready to hit the 6-month mark, it is absolutely just mind-blowing that it's been 6 months. And as I'm talking about this, I'm physically live hiking on the Appalachian Trail. And over a year ago, I was convinced there was just no way this was ever going to happen. And it's not about miles. It's not about how fast. For me, it's about being out here and putting my feet on the brown path and doing the miles that I can and that I'm capable of. And that's the 6-month mark for me on the Seek to Do More program. But I am going to take a picture on July 1st and put it side by side with my January 1st picture and post that on July the 1st. I'm not sure if this episode will come out before then. So if it comes out after July 1st, go over to my Instagram channel and you'll see that picture. And I'm really proud of that. And all that means is, moving forward, who knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months, but I'm here for it, and I'm following my daily commitments. And if you guys listen to a Q&A episode that I put out a few weeks back, you'll hear what the 7 daily commitments are, and just those micro goals every single day that you can check off, and it gives you a goal to complete on a daily basis. And I love that. And it's not July 1st yet, but I'm already looking forward to the next 6 months and seeing more transformation in myself. And there are a couple listeners that are now part of the Seek to Do More program and getting one-on-one coaching with James. And that is absolutely fantastic. So, y'all, day 2, the mind is clearing, the thankfulness is coming, and I thank each and every one of you that have hung on and continue to listen to the podcast. Even when I was down and out, y'all hung on, and here we are almost halfway through 2024. And I hope you all are still out fulfilling your own individual goals. I see a lot of you on Instagram, and I see you're out there kicking butt as well. So keep doing that. Just wanted to say thank you. I'm still hiking on, and I was looking in the AT guide earlier. I stopped to take a little break, And there is something coming up that I completely forgot about. And it is not the detour around the Palisades Parkway. It is something else I totally forgot about. So I will be back to fill y'all in on what's coming up next. All right, y'all. It is still day 2 of my time doing some section hiking on the Appalachian Trail in New York. And y'all, I'm standing here on a big rock outcropping, staring at New York City from the Appalachian Trail. And I believe off to my left, that's the Hudson, which we are working our way toward the Hudson to cross that famous bridge once you get out of the zoo. So yeah, I am looking at a nice rock step that I have to go down here, and it's a gorgeous day. The clouds are opened up just perfectly where I can see New York City. And in 2015, when I came through here, it was all socked in, and we just had to believe that New York City was across the other range of Appalachian Mountains. But y'all, I am having a clear view of it today. I have taken some video, and I will release those video clips as on the day this podcast comes out. So yeah, I'm just sitting up here soaking it all in. The weather could not be better. There has been an amazing breeze like all day. So yeah, so that's one of my surprises, or one of the highlights of the day that I totally forgot about. The potential of seeing the New York City skyline. It's pretty cool from the AT. So, all right, y'all, I am going to work my way down this nasty rock scramble that I don't remember either, and head my way toward the new, it's no longer a detour, but the new 2 miles of trail that are going to take us around a different way over the Palisades Expressway. So, all right, I'll be back then. All right, y'all, back to round out day 2 of hiking on the Appalachian Trail in New York City. And I just got off of the 2 miles of trail, or the alternate route, the detour, whatever you want to call it. Far Out says 2023. It is deemed the new section of trail. It is all white blazed. It's pretty cushy trail until you get to the very bottom and you pop out. There's a little rocky area, but it's no big deal. But I am now standing on the bridge of the Anthony Wayne, I think it's Anthony Wayne Road, that is going to lead me to the Anthony Wayne Recreation Area. So the reroute, you're still having to walk on the road, but you're going over on a bridge on Anthony Wayne Road instead of actually crossing on the Palisades Parkway itself. So now I've done both. I've done the original route where you have to hurry up and run across Palisades Parkway, and now I've done the new Appalachian Trail route where I believe it's about 2 additional miles of trail, and then you pop out on this Anthony Wayne Road that loops you around and takes you to the Anthony Wayne Recreation Area, where I am getting ready to get picked up. So again, I'm not quite sure. In the AT guide, it has about 8.3 miles. Far Out has me right at 8.9 right now. So who knows how much mileage I did today. All I know is that it is early afternoon. Going to get picked up, probably go back to the campground, make something to eat, and chill out for the rest of the afternoon. And then start right back here tomorrow at the Anthony Wayne Recreation Area and head up to the tower at Bear Mountain State Park. So again, putting a wrap on day 2. I'll be back tomorrow, y'all, to start day 3. All right, y'all, welcome to day number 3. of section hiking in New York. And this morning, I got dropped off back at the Anthony Wayne Recreation Area, which is in far out, northbound mile marker 1401.7. And today I am doing a 5.6 mile day. I am going to be picked up at the Perkins Tower, which is in Bear Mountain State Park, at mile marker 1408.3. Again, makes it a 5.6 mile day. And this is what Far Out says about the area of Perkins Tower. It says, walk across the busy summit of Bear Mountain, complete with a large observation tower and a road for car access, which is allowing me to be picked up at the tower. The summit can be very crowded since the mountain is relatively close to New York City and is easily accessed by car and foot. The Perkins Memorial Tower at the summit is open to visitors in the spring through the fall. It provides fine panoramic views of the Hudson Highlands, Palisades, and New York City. There is parking space for dozens of cars around the top of the mountain, along with restrooms, vending machines, and garbage bins. I also pulled up the Bear Mountain State Park website, and this says, Bear Mountain State Park is situated in rugged mountains rising from the west bank of the Hudson River. The park features a large playfield, shaded picnic groves, lake, and river fishing access, a swimming pool, trailside museums and zoo, hiking, biking, and cross-country ski trails. An outdoor rink is open to ice skaters from late October through mid-March. The Perkins Memorial Tower, which is where I'm going, atop Bear Mountain, affords spectacular views of the park, the Hudson Highlands, and Harriman State Park. So there you have it, y'all. Today is a climbing day. If I remember correctly, back from 2015, when I did this climb, it is some fantastic trail work, some rock work leading up to the tower at Bear Mountain State Park. And there is also fantastic trail maintenance and rock work on the downside once you cross over the tower down to the actual park. And tomorrow I will go through the trail zoo. It'll be a little bit later start because the zoo does not open until 10 a.m. So I will probably have Stephanie drop me off in the park around 9 a.m. tomorrow at the tower and walk through the zoo, cross over the famous bridge, go over the Hudson, and then end at the Appalachian Trail Deli. So that is the next couple days. And today, already out of breath, y'all, is pretty much nothing but climbing and getting up to the tower atop Bear Mountain State Park, or atop Bear Mountain. And already out of breath. So this morning, when I got up and enjoying my first cup of coffee in the van, I decided to try and map out the next few days going through New York. And it looks like it'll be about 10 days to get to Hoyt Road and the border of New York and Connecticut. And that puts me to the New York-Connecticut border on July the 1st. And then able to do a couple days into Connecticut. And then we are turning the van to the east of the state. Yeah, to the east, northeast of the state of New York. And that is where my next set of hiking is going to begin. I'll give y'all more information on that over the next couple days. But we are going to be driving July 4th to our new destination, which is not on the Appalachian Trail, but there is a lot of hiking to be had in this area, and I am excited. So that wraps out where I'm at as of this morning. So I have a little flat ground here, a 5.6 mile day on day 3. And that is another thing that I wanted to talk about. So it seems like the sweet spot for my foot before it gets really overworked for the day is around 8, 9, 10 miles. And I want to be able to hike every day. So the next 7 days are mileage points anywhere around 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. And that really works out for me in my foot. It works out for the van pickup and drop off points. It works out for Stephanie. And that is just the way we are going to do it as we go through New York for a second time. And I'm just trying to balance being out on the trail, being able to spend time with Stephanie in the van and doing various things, and hitting some highlights that she wants to take a look at, and also hiking out on the Appalachian Trail. And it is working out. And Stephanie is really excited for the 4th of July when we turn the van to the northeast of the state. And she's going to be able to do some biking and all that good stuff. So good things ahead. We are motoring through, figuring things out and figuring out what works. So this is the beginning of day 3. Woo, already climbing again. Beautiful rock steps. The trail maintenance in this area is fantastic. So day 3, here we go. I will be back either before the tower or once I get to the tower. So hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I'll be back soon. All right, y'all. Holy cow, I forgot about this section of trail. Really, really rocky and rugged. I am glad I'm doing 5.6 miles. So I'm over halfway there. I've got just under 3 miles until I hit the tower. But basically, when you cross, I think it's 7 Lakes Drive northbound, it is a 3.1 rock staircase, rock slab climb up to Perkins Tower. So this is really testing the climbing, the legs, the endurance, and the feet, I should say. And yeah, I have just gotten myself to a pace where I know I can be steady and careful, because about every step has to be strategic. And I've missed this as well. I've missed having to be strategic out on the trail and figure out foot placement and just strategy. And it keeps your mind going, and it keeps your mind thinking and learning. And one of the things that I've been listening to a podcast. It's the podcast is called the Free Trail Podcast. It's all about ultra running. And this coming weekend is the Western States 100 miler endurance run out in California. And I've been following this race, man, probably since early 2000s, and now they're doing like pre-race coverage, pre-race live interviews, commentary. They're doing prediction polls on who's going to win the race. And I just love listening and following along. I love ultra running and just the races. And I have never run over a 50K, which is like 31 or 32 miles. And running is a stretch. I would say jogging and walking 50K in one day. But that was back in my early days of trail running and all that good stuff in the early 2000s. But I just love listening to the commentary, listening to who's going to be racing, their training. And it's actually fueling me up this 3.1 mile climb basically to Perkins Tower at the top of Bear Mountain. So I am going to get off here, continue to climb, listen to that podcast, and continue to learn today. So here we go, people. I'll be back probably from the top. All right, y'all. Still day 3. Still climbing up to Perkins Tower. And this amazing rock work is making the job easier. But it is not easy by any means. But I kind of want to round out day 3 as I'm climbing here and thinking. And last night, for some reason, I don't know what made me do it, but I checked my work email. And one of the very first emails that I saw was from a former student that I had last semester. I think she's going to be a senior this coming school year. And it was a note of thanks, thanking me for basically believing in her and encouraging her, and that she was encouraged to go out and get her first job. And she had gotten an email back from the company, and she's got an interview. And y'all, I almost came unglued, because that is just so impactful when you hear from a student or a coworker or somebody that you work with that you had no idea you were making an impact on their life. And I wish I could tell you the story of this young lady, but I cannot, because for obvious reasons. But she is the very last person that I thought I would get an email from ever. We'll just put it that way. And I immediately emailed her back and said, "Oh my gosh, I am so proud of you. If you need a reference, let me know. I will be more than glad to write a reference letter for you, whatever you need." And that email has just impacted me, impacted my mind, and propelling me forward. Because again, I go back to the Seek to Do More program and the fact that, you know, part of what we try to do in this community of like-minded individuals is be impactful and impact the people around us on a daily basis in a positive way, and just help people move and propel forward in their own lives. And one of the most amazing things as an educator is seeing students 5, 10, 15 years later. I run across students in the grocery store and they'll yell out to me, "Miss Gayhart, I want you to meet my child. I want you to meet my husband. I want you to meet my partner, my wife," whatever. And it always takes me a moment to remember who they are, because, you know, as an educator, you can see 90 to 100 students per semester. And you think about that over the course of years, how many people you have impacted And it's just a powerful thing when you see people that you've impacted and you had no idea. And in the same token, I had a fellow colleague pass away this past week. He was 47 years old, and he was a counselor at a former school I worked at, and he had a heart attack and passed away. And it's like 47 years old. For me, that was 3 years ago. And that was really impactful in my life because both of his sons graduated from my former school, and I got to read their names because I used to read the names at graduation and watch his sons walk across the stage, and they walk across, they get their diploma, and that is impactful. And it makes you just think, wow, life is short. Time to make impacts. Time to continue to educate and propel forward. So I just kind of wanted to end this episode. I am at one of the rock outcroppings heading toward the top of Bear Mountain. There's actually a bench here. I'm standing right beside the bench. I am not going to sit. I'm going to keep walking. But today I'm thinking about impact and how I can continue to make impact in my educator world, how I can continue to make impact in this hiking world, and specifically this past year in 2024, really starting to change my life, build strength, build endurance mentally, physically, spiritually, and just what this impact has done in the last 6 months. And, in the hiking community, I'm a 50-year-old woman. So I hope all of you 50-year-olds out there know that in your hiking journey, you can still get out on trail, you can still strength train, you can still move along the trail, and you can go at your own pace, and you can still put your feet on the brown path. That's really what this podcast is about. Making impact, figuring out if you love to hike, strengthening your body, your mind to get out here and do so, and make things happen for yourself, and know that you can do it because I'm out here doing it. So it may not be conventional. It may not be what everybody says you need to do. It may not be burning down the miles. But honestly, burning down the miles does not make impact like a student that is going out and getting her first job, because we built a relationship and, we made headway over the semester and pushing each other. She pushed me to be better. I pushed her to be better. And holy cow, that email has propelled me. So anyway, y'all, I am still climbing, but I'm going to end day 3 with that. Just encouraging you all to think about impact in your professional life, in your work life, in your home life, in your family life, and in your trail community, where you can make impact at all those places. And y'all, I'm going to get to the top of this. I'm going to put my hand on that tower. I'm going to meet Stephanie up here. And I'm telling y'all, we might go back to that diner. Excuse me. So on that note, day 3, New York. Tomorrow we cross the Hudson on day 4 and head toward Connecticut. All right, y'all, welcome back. And day 4 of section hiking in the state of New York. I am standing in the parking lot on top of Bear Mountain and looking right at the Perkins Tower. The hike starts today, northbound mileage 1,408.3, and I am going to the Appalachian Market that is on Route 9 at mile marker northbound 1,415.1, makes it a 6.8 mile day. And there's a lot happening in these 6.8 miles. First and foremost, we left Beaver Pond Campground this morning a little bit later than we normally do, because today I am going to be going through the zoo at Bear Mountain State Park, and it does not open until 10 a.m. So I am starting my hike a little bit later. I've got 1.7 miles from the start of my hike to get down to the entrance of the zoo. And this afternoon, after we eat at the Appalachian Market, we are going to be moving to a new campground, and I have no idea how to say this. I believe it's Clarence Fahnestock State Park Campground. It's Fahnestock State Park Campground. And we are going to be moving there starting this evening for the next few days. But I wanted to read out of Far Out some of the highlights for the day. And it starts with the zoo. So in Far Out it says, the AT enters the Trailside Zoo and Museum, one of the more peculiar sites along the Appalachian Trail. The trail walks through the zoo for about a quarter of a mile, showcasing a variety of local wildlife. Those in the zoo are mostly injured or rehabilitating. There's also a natural history museum that hikers can enter. The zoo is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily, so if you happen to cross while it is closed, you'll need to take a Blue Blaze side trail around the zoo. And one of the reasons I'm starting later is I do not want to have to take that Blue Blaze side trail. And it says the Trailside Zoo also holds the distinction of being the lowest elevation on the entire Appalachian Trail at 160 feet above sea level. And then for me, probably the highlight of the day is going to be crossing the Hudson. And this is what Far Out says. It says, cross the Hudson River on the Bear Mountain Bridge. The AT walks along the pedestrian sidewalk on the north side of the bridge, taking about a half a mile to get across the river. Along the way, there are great views up and down the Hudson and up to Anthony's Nose to the east and Bear Mountain to the west. So I am really looking forward to that. I will probably get down or start the hike, get down to the zoo, and then turn the mic back on as I cross over the Hudson. And then couldn't think of a better place to end this hike today, except at the Appalachian Market. And here's what Far Out says about the market. The Appalachian Market at the intersection is directly on the trail and a great food stop for hikers. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The deli serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The market offers good light resupply for hikers, including Spam and tuna packets, oatmeal packets, single-serve instant coffee packets, rice with pasta sauce, mashed potatoes, among other things. The market also offers indoor and outdoor seating, electrical outlets for charging phones, and a large bathroom. There is also fuel available for camp stoves. So, y'all, that is what the day is looking like today. I am going to put my pack on, tag the tower with my hand, and start heading down the 1.7 miles until I get to the lake, get to the zoo, and start crossing the Hudson. And I will be back once we get on the Hudson, the bridge. See you soon. All right, y'all. I know you can hear the traffic. I am standing and now walking on the bridge, going over the Hudson. Just got out of the zoo, which mortified me the first time I went through there and mortified me the second time I went through there. And now I am mortified on the bridge. Oh God, I have a love-hate relationship with bridges. I love bridges, but I hate going over them. And I wish y'all could see me walking. I am literally hugging this concrete little wall and stayed away from the railing, not looking up, not looking down, and crossing the bridge. Holy cow, I never thought I would do this again. This is an amazing moment. Woo! So crazy. So crazy. Says the bridge is about a half mile. I have no idea. All right, looked up just a little bit. Bunch of workers working on the bridge as well. And honestly, I'm just not trying to look at anything. But I am looking at the Hudson just a little bit, waiting for the cars to go by. Or not waiting for the cars to go by, listening to the cars to go by. Did take a little video that I will put up on my YouTube channel of the bridge right before you start walking across. And y'all, once I get across this bridge, going up to the next climb, I think, is Anthony's Nose, and then down to the Appalachian Market, get lunch. Then I will be done for the day, and we will be heading over to Clarence Fonstock State Park, something like that. So y'all, I am going to end this episode right here on the bridge, going over the Hudson, days 1 through 4 of section hiking in New York, working on completing my second section hike of the Appalachian Trail. And I did want to let you know that I have loaded a bunch of shorts up over on my YouTube channel. I think I made 3 or 4 videos, short clips a day while I've been here in New York. And while we were in the Shenandoahs, I have loaded those on my YouTube channel. You can go over to my Julie Gayhart YouTube channel and check those out. Woo! Trying to put more and more on my YouTube channel. It seems the right place. Woo, big semi going by. Seems the right place to put things. You could always listen to the podcast on any of your favorite podcast app or apps, but I do load the podcast on Saturdays when it comes out on my Julie Gayhart YouTube channel. Got videos over there. I've got shorts. And yeah, just trying to build the YouTube channel a little bit. So y'all, I am still walking across this bridge. And this means more than ever right now. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there. Happy section hiking. And I'll be back real soon. All right, y'all. Still climbing day 4. I just wanted to come back. I don't know if you call this a blooper or what, but day 4 in New York City, the tower on Bear Mountain, I can't even think of the name of it, to the Appalachian Market, kicked my butt. There you go.